In today's video, we're going to learn how to write the domain and range of a graph. To do this, we're going to look at a story of Heidi. Now, Heidi was a little girl that went to go live with her grandfather, and she would take goats grazing on the mountain. So, suppose one day, Heidi went for a walk, or a hike, down and then back up the mountain. We're going to put the mountain and her home on a graph. The negative y values, remember y goes up and down, the negative y values, the ones going down, will be how far she hikes down the mountain, and the positive y values will be how far she hikes up the mountain. The x values will be how far away from home she walks. So here's Heidi, and she's going to be at her home at a height of 0 feet above or below her home. And she's going to take the goats and she's going to walk down or hike down the mountain with the goats. And then she's going to hike back up the mountain with the goats, and she's going to come and stop to graze the goats up at the top at 75 feet above where her home is. So Heidi's 75 feet above where her home is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use this story to find the domain and range of Heidi's hike. Now remember, the domain represents all of the x values of her particular hike. Now the x values, where did her hike start? How many feet from home did she start her hike? Well, since she started at home, right here, her domain started 0 feet from home. And as she walked along, how far away from home did she go? Remember, we're talking about the x values, the domain. Well, our domain ended at 200 feet. So her hike went from 0 to 200 feet. And since we're talking about the domain, and since it was all the values in between, we're going to put an x value in between those. So we're saying our x values are between 0 and 200. And this is the way you write it. It looks a little weird, but what it tells us is it tells us that x, if you read it from the middle, x is less than or equal to 200, and x is greater than or equal to 0. On the graph, that means that Heidi's walk went from 0 to 200 feet away from home. Now let's talk about the range. Her range tells you how far down and how far up she went for the hike. So how far down? What was the lowest she went on her hike? Well, she went negative 90 feet on her hike. And how far up above her house did she go? She went to 75 feet. Now, since we're talking about range, we're talking about the y values, which means our y values are going to be between negative 90 and 75. Her hike went from negative 90 feet below the house, to 75 feet above the house. And you write your symbols saying that y is less than or equal to 75 and y is greater than or equal to negative 90. Her hike went from negative 90 feet below the house, to 75 feet above the house.